Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Routine Podcast.
Gymnastics Conversations.
I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Chelsea's mom, Diana.
And we're back for episode 51.
And we're back for regionals.
Regionals.
It's that time.
We had a week off.
Well, a week off from watching.
We did.
Not a week off from podcasting.
No gymnastics this past weekend. So we were able to get some fresh air.
We did. And gymnastics start tonight.
Yeah, the road to nationals.
We're here.
Literally starts tonight.
And I'm nervous. You had me fill out a bracket this week, and that made me even more nervous.
And actually, we got a tweet from Steph Says, "We haven't heard from you in a while, Steph. How have you been?"
Hi, Steph.
She said, "I think Mom and Chelsea need to do a bracket challenge on the next podcast."
I love how she put mom before Chelsea.
Yeah. So Mom and I just completed our brackets separately.
We did?
We completed it as what we think will actually happen.
Well, yes and no. As we were going through it, you asked that question, which one was I doing? And to me, what I think is going to happen is actually what I want to happen. So it was easy.
So Mom is obviously sending out positive vibes, maybe towards LSU's way.
That's correct.
I think, honestly, if we did the more, what do you hope to happen? I think our brackets would maybe look similar.
Really now? Isn't that interesting?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I really am not going to know who I want to win until we get into the arena.
And that's what happened last time. I mean, you always have been a UCLA fan, but you've also always been an LSU fan.
I started as a UCLA fan.
That's right.
But like whenever I really got into college gymnastics, it was because of LSU.
Right. And then this year you've become a Florida fan.
I know. Yeah.
With Trinity and Savannah and Alicia. So you're a gymnastics fan at the end of the day.
I'm multicultural.
Is that what you want to say? Yeah. You're diverse.
Yeah.
You're diverse in your thinking about who should win.
Yeah.
But I think what was also interesting about our brackets is that they were very much the same, which when we looked at all of the regionals and then who moved forward from the regionals, you and I had all of the same, except for, I think, one area.
Yeah, the Oregon State regional was a little bit different, but the teams we had moving on from that regional was the same.
Exactly, which is really interesting. And we diverged only on the Final Four and what order the Final Four was.
Yeah, so we both agree with who's going to be in the Final Four. The order is where it differs.
And our second and fourth place teams were the same, which is interesting. It was our first and third place teams that were different.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually post our brackets on our website if you guys want to see who we have winning. But also, I'm curious to see who you guys have winning. What order do you think it's going to be in April? So tweet us, email us, send us a picture of your bracket. I think it'd be really interesting to see which side our listeners fall on.
Yeah, I think that will be interesting. But I also think watching is going to be interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Because like I said, putting the brackets together made me so nervous because they have to be good on the day they're competing. And some will be competing for more than one day.
Yeah, regionals.
Or most will be competing for more than one day.
If you make it, if you're good, you're going to be competing more than one day.
Right. So you have to be good all the time.
Yeah. And for a select few, they're going to be competing 3 days in a row, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of unlikely, but like you said, you never know what's going to happen the day of the competition.
And the key is you want to be competing 3 days in a row, right?
If you're one of the teams that could be competing 3 days in a row, yes, you do want that to happen, but like you kind of like that's a lot of gymnastics.
It is. So I'm glad we had a week break from watching because we're really going to be watching over the next 4 days.
Yeah, the next 4 weeks, really, it just starts rolling down now.
It does.
We're on the downswing.
Yeah, and I just think that before we get into nationals and who's going to win and all that. It's been an amazing year of gymnastics.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I feel like we've really grown as a community so far, and we haven't even come to like the best part of season yet.
Agreed.
I just feel like, especially the college gymnastics community, it's going strong.
Mm-hmm. We've done our little small part to help.
Yeah.
And have had lots of fun doing it.
We have. In the Twitter poll that we put out this past week for our fan favorites, you can really see who people are siding with, and they're just loyal fans.
Yeah.
There's so many different schools that people want to root for, and I think that's so cool.
Well, I also think it's different than the responses that we got last year to fan favorites. Same questions, but I think there was much more diversity in the answers this year.
Definitely.
Whereas last year,
it was kind of like the top 5.
Yeah, it was Pang. It was Kate. It was who it should have been. This year was much tougher, I think, for people to fill it out. For me, it was tougher to fill out.
Yeah. But before we get into fan favorites, we got a tweet from our good friend Shazalina.
Hi, Shazalina.
She said, starting a positive energy circle for the routine podcast journey to nationals. And it's funny because this tweet actually got a lot of favorites and retweets. So thank you all for putting good vibes into the air. We are definitely catching those vibes over here.
We want to catch every last one of them. I mean, I think the thought of us traveling again and what's riding on us getting there successfully and on time, right? And the fact that we're going in on the very last flight out, it all makes me so nervous. And here's the thing. This is what's so really bad, right? Because I booked our flights and we're, again, flying out from 2 different airports. You're the one that has to fly late because you don't get off till late. I don't have that issue.
You could leave a week before if you wanted to.
Right. And I really almost thought when I put this together, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to leave in the morning. I can get the hotel, I can get the car, and I'll just come and pick her up. And then what happens on her end, happens on her end.
Oh, that would be so sad.
Wouldn't it? But I didn't do that. I did the solidarity move.
We're both in this together.
That's right. So we're both leaving about the same time and we're landing at about the same time. So it's either all or none on this trip, girl.
I'm not only just looking forward to nationals and the gymnastics that's going to be happening, I'm also excited to meet all of our listeners. A lot of our listeners are going. Yeah. And it's going to be cool to put like a real human face to the Twitter names that we see.
Agreed. And the voicemails that we get. Yeah. So that'd be fun. And speaking of voicemails, Shazalina not only sent us this positive energy circle tweet, she also left us a voicemail about the Twitter poll and her choices for fan favorites.
Hey, Chelsea and Diana, this is Charlene, aka Shazalina on Twitter. I'm from Ireland and I'm a massive NCAA gym fan. I'm just going to answer the polls you put on Twitter. So first off, Vault, Taylor Houchin from Nebraska. She's a beautiful Yurchenko 1.5. Bars, Kyla has gorgeous form, but my favorite has to be Madison Koshin. I have loved her for years, and I think she's really improved on getting her form together. Beam, Megan Skaggs, I've really enjoyed her toe point, and I think she's just beautiful to watch on Beam. Floor, this is really difficult as the NCAA is full of amazing floor routines, including Alicia's, but my favorite has to be Sophia Hydrali of Alaska. She has amazing musicality and great dance. Gymnast has to be Milan Clausi, a freshman at Cal. She has a great Yurchenko 1.5, and she also has an amazing floor routine with all these headstands, and the dance is beautiful. Team has to be UCLA, but I've really enjoyed watching Auburn and Iowa State this year. And my favorite Leos are Cal's. My favorite episode has to be the adventures to OU UCLA. It really gave me a great laugh, although I know it must have been difficult at the time. And I'm really enjoying your episodes. I can't wait to hear more from you guys. Thanks for listening.
So, Shazalina, thank you for the positive energy circle. And especially thank you for sending us the tweet and the voicemail.
This is one of my favorite episodes of the year, just because we're at this point of season where we've seen the routines week after week. We know who we're looking forward to watching every weekend. And through the poll that we put on Twitter, people get to share who their favorites are. And I'm going to preface by saying how we decided who to list on the poll. So we had 4 answers, and on every question we had the option for other or comment below. So that really left us only with 3 people that we were able to list. And I wanted to encourage people to think outside the box. So I listed some names that maybe not everyone is a fan of, or that may not be as high in the rankings as other gymnasts. But that's just because I wanted to encourage people to think outside of the box about who they wanted to vote for.
Yeah, they may not be as well known as a name that we talk about all the time. I think the other thing that you were very careful about is you only listed everybody's name like one time. Mm-hmm. So even though you could, for example, have listed Sarah Finnegan's name.
I thought you were going to say, for example, Kyla Ross.
I could say that too. On every single event, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
You made sure that whatever their strongest event was, they got their name mentioned once, but then you listed other names on the other event. So I think that was very judicious of you.
Thank you. Thank you. So to start off, the first question, favorite vault of the 2019 season?
And this winner, we'll call her a winner, was not what I expected.
It kind of was for me. 66% of the votes went to Natalie Wuchek of University of Michigan.
Okay.
She has a beautiful Yurchenko 1.5, and she usually drills it the majority of the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Has she gotten a 10-0 this year?
She has. She should have gotten more than one.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
But we also got a lot of other honorable mentions.
Right, because I think it's important to do that because there's nobody close to her. I mean, at almost 70%, nobody else was close.
No. But some other names that people mentioned, Shallon Olson of Alabama, Kyla Ross, and Maddie Karr of Denver.
And all of them have a 1.5 except for Shallon, who does a double.
Yes. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, it looks like at least some folks chose the same favorite I have. I would have selected Brenna just because she's so explosive when she's, does her vault.
That's a good one. I probably would say Kyla Ross, just because she's so technically precise.
Right.
But all of the vaults that we've named have been amazing this year.
Absolutely. They all should be listed.
Mm-hmm. So moving into question number 2, favorite bar routine of the 2019 season. I thought this would actually be a little bit closer than it was. 46% of the votes went to Kyla Ross, and 31% of the votes went to Trinity Thomas.
Yeah, that was surprising to me too. And then I just think it's worth mentioning the other name that was mentioned was Maggie Nichols of Oklahoma. But again, I think those names are interesting. And who were the honorable mentions for this one?
This was kind of all over the map, which now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know who I would choose as a favorite bar routine of the season. But we got Brenna Dowell. We got Alex Highland of Kentucky. We got Sarah Finnegan. We got Claire Gagliardi. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And Alexa Al-Hamid of Georgia.
Yeah, she does have a beautiful bar routine as well. I actually would have picked somebody that it looks like hasn't been mentioned, and that is Savannah from Florida.
Savannah Shanehair.
Yeah,
her bar routine is beautiful.
It is. And the other one I thought about is Gracie.
Gracie Day from Auburn.
Right. Beautiful bar routine as well.
Yeah. Those are 2 really, really good names.
You would have said Kyla?
No. I would say Nicole Lehrman of Oklahoma. I love her dismount.
I do too. And the way she does her dismount.
Yeah. So that was a good one. Number 3, favorite beam routine of the 2019 season.
See, this one's easy for me, and I can't believe her name's not on this list. This is my first time seeing the list, by the way, guys.
Who?
Sarah. It's not on the beam. I mean, it's just...
but there are so many other beautiful beam routines, too.
That's true.
So I listed Lexi Ramler, Alexis Vasquez, and Caitlin Ohashi. Let me just say, this one was really out of the box because I think these gymnasts deserve recognition as well.
Me too.
And number 1 with 40% of the votes.
More than 40%.
More than 40% of the votes is Alexis Vasquez of Denver.
I know.
As a freshman.
That was great.
Her beam routine is gorgeous and it has a lot of difficulty in it. And she just looks like she could do it in her sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one when you were selecting the names. It was really interesting. of how many people you could have selected.
Yeah.
Because there are so many beautiful beam workers out there.
There are. A couple of names that were mentioned. Grace Glenn, give that girl a 10 in the leadoff. She earned it. Rachel Gowie, which is also a great name.
Is beautiful, yeah.
Sabrina Vega.
Yep, I'm there.
Sarah Finnegan.
Yeah.
And Nicole Lehrman of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
All which deserve to be number one, honestly.
Absolutely.
So moving into question number 4, favorite floor routines of the 2019 season. And this question, I think, really ebbed and flowed throughout the poll.
Oh, throughout the week?
Yeah.
In terms of who was in the lead?
Yeah, which was really interesting. But it ended up being 47% of the votes with Gracie Kramer.
Which, you know what? I do love her floor routine.
No one performs it like Gracie.
It's true. It's true. And remember, she wasn't in the lineup most of the time last year.
Yeah, she was kind of in and out of the lineup.
Yeah, because they have such a strong floor lineup.
Yeah. But you can't say that that girl does not perform.
Absolutely. And again, I love Gracie, but Sarah Finnegan, she got like second highest votes.
She did. But I mean, we got a lot of comments about different names that we didn't list. So a couple, Lynnzee Brown.
From Denver.
Brenna Dowell.
Yeah.
Shannon Evans actually got a lot of comments as well from BYU with her Mario themed routine.
Yep.
Anastasia Webb.
Yeah. I vote for that as well.
Really?
Remember we saw Anastasia?
That's my vote.
Well, then we both vote for that. Although it doesn't beat my vote for Sarah.
Okay, but what about Alicia?
Okay, it doesn't beat my vote for Alicia either.
Okay, but you can only vote for one.
I'm 3. I'm Sarah, Alicia, and Anastasia.
Okay. Well, I'm only Anastasia.
Oh, wow.
She gets my vote, yes.
Wow. Okay.
I think because whenever we watched her in Oklahoma...
It did change everything, didn't it?
Yeah. And I hadn't seen her floor routine previous to that. So I really my socks were knocked off.
It is. And you know what also happened in Oklahoma, among many things, right? But we got to see her warm it up as well, right? Because she warmed up her dance.
Yeah.
And that kind of got us ready for the actual event. And you're right. And I think it's what you said too. The music is playing when you're watching it in person. It really is like you're at an entertainment event.
And it's a great leadoff routine.
Yeah,
it's a great way to start the lineup for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We also got some votes for Mark Zetta.
Oh, wow.
Can't forget about Mark Zetta.
Not that floor routine.
Yeah. So you guys really left a lot of great names. And I think that just shows how competitive floor is in the NCAA.
Agreed.
So moving into question number 5. Favorite gymnast of the 2019 season.
This was hard.
I actually really questioned putting this question out there because I just don't like doing that.
Why? How's it different from the rest?
I don't know. I feel like this one is just like a little bit more like, okay, I like you. I like everybody.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we can get rid of this question. I mean, we have answers to it, but you don't have to keep it.
This one had a lot of great responses, but the winner with 50% of the votes,
which is significant,
was Kyla Ross, which is kind of understandable. How
many 10s has she gotten this year?
So far, 8 in a row. So far, it could keep on going.
So she deserves this.
Yeah, you earned it, Kyla. You earned it.
Wow, 8 10s in a row.
Yeah. And then Sarah Finnegan and Trinity Thomas.
Good. So what were some of the others that were mentioned?
Maddie Karr or Lynnzee Brown.
Okay.
That's from
Denver.
Maria, our resident Denver fan. She also listed Brenna.
Oh, wow.
As a senior. Can't forget about her.
Could have gone there too.
Yeah, Brenna was actually one that was mentioned quite a few times outside of the poll.
Good. I like everybody who was mentioned.
And then question number 6, favorite team of the 2019 season. And this question got the highest number of votes all around.
Favorite team.
Which is really hard. At least for me, it's hard to pick. But with the majority of the votes, UCLA.
54% voted UCLA as their favorite team this year.
Actually, right now, It's 56%.
Oh, it went higher.
Yeah. And I thought the majority of our listeners were actually LSU fans.
Oh, well, that's because we talk about LSU all the time. It doesn't mean most of our fans want to hear us talk about LSU all the time. But UCLA, almost 60%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got some questions like, why didn't you list Florida? But the way that I determined who to list for this one was just the top 3 teams.
Because you only have 3 choices.
Exactly.
If you would have had a 4th choice, you would have added Florida.
Definitely.
So how many honorable mentions for Florida? Did you get quite a bit?
Yeah. Florida fans weren't happy about this question.
All right. So Florida did really well on this poll as well.
Yeah.
Favorite team, Florida.
But also we got a lot of mentions for Denver, which makes me so happy.
It does. It really does, especially because of our interviews that we're going to do today.
Yes. Stay tuned. We have some interviews from 2 gymnasts from Denver, as well as the head coach.
Yeah. Lots of fun.
We also got mentions for Michigan, which there are a lot of Michigan fans out there too.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then 2 more questions. Favorite team Leos of the 2019 season. The highest number of votes was Cal.
I love that.
Which I am totally on board for. I mentioned that because that's actually my favorite team, Leos. Their colors are blue and gold. So you can't really go wrong with that. It's a navy blue.
Right.
And usually their Leos are very like clean and subtle. Yeah. You know, some rhinestones here and there.
Right.
So I really love Cal Leos.
Cal had 40% of the vote.
Mm-hmm. And then right after was other. And a lot of people commented Michigan State, which I would also agree with. Mm-hmm. Their Leos are very pretty. And I feel like their colors are also kind of hard to work with. It's kind of this army forest green and white. So It's a little bit harder, but they pull it off.
They make it work.
And their Leos always look really elegant.
Good.
And then the last question.
My favorite question.
Favorite routine podcast episode.
And this is where we almost have a tie.
I know, right? Which I did not think it was going to be as close as it was.
No, me either.
Actually, now that I'm updating the poll right now with 39% of the votes, take a guess.
It's got to be the Mustang Sally train plane episode. Really?
Chatting with Miss Val.
Really?
Yes.
Our highest rated show.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right?
Thank you, Miss Val.
Thanks, Miss Val.
We got to interview you again.
Probably because most of our listeners are UCLA fans.
It's true. There's this correlation, isn't there?
Yeah. And then 38% of the votes was the best of the best in Oklahoma.
Okay. So it was almost a tie.
Almost. And I'm sure it'll change by tonight as well.
Did you have any honorable mentions other than the ones that you mentioned?
We got a tweet from Gymnastics. It's actually really funny. She said, it's too hard to pick. And then she added a GIF of someone just shopping for potato chips and just throwing everything in the basket as a metaphor for, I just love them all.
I love that tweet.
So thanks, Gymnastics.
Thank you so much.
What's your favorite episode?
Oh, it has to be Mustang Sally. Only because I've obviously lived through it. And to get off that train and hear and you pull up in this Mustang. I don't think I'll forget that in my life, actually.
I would say that, yes, that is my favorite episode, but not for that reason. I think getting to increase our perspective of college gymnastics through our experiences there with who we met, who we interviewed. We met a lot of our listeners there. We were able to talk with head coach KJ Kindler, as well as some of the gymnasts on Oklahoma.
And we saw beautiful gymnastics that night.
Besides the traveling to get there, it was an awesome, awesome experience. Right. And everyone was so nice.
Yeah, they really were. Midwest, that's me. Midwest nice. That's just how it is. But no, I agree. I mean, I just can't separate the travel to get there from the meet itself. Because it was like, 3 days or something crazy. It felt like it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then I was sick afterwards, and that took a week. I mean, it was just like...
It was an experience.
It really was. Which is why I'm so excited about the positive energy that Shayzalina is sending us for our travel to Dallas.
Yeah. So that's the fan favorites.
Wow, those are good, Chels.
Yeah. I think people really thought outside the box, and there was some obvious correlations with some of the commenters. I think one person commented Sarah Finnegan for every question.
Was that me?
Maybe it was. Were you catfishing me, Mom?
I don't even know how to do the tweet poll or Twitter poll. So
yeah, you can't even really say what it is.
I don't even know. So it wasn't me.
But clearly you and one of our listeners are on the same page. So,
well, and I think also we talked about this earlier in the podcast. There is such a diversity of talent this year that we could have chosen a lot of people from a lot of teams to be in the top. So I really love the way this season has progressed.
Mm-hmm. So now moving into regionals this weekend.
Oh, here we are.
It's like, I feel like we've talked about this for weeks about this new format, and we're here.
We are here. It'd be interesting to see how it works.
Yeah.
It's got potential.
It definitely does. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this new format, College Gym News actually kind of breaks it down really, really well. I would say head to their website. So good luck to all of the teams competing this weekend.
Good luck. Do the best you can and be safe.
Yes.
All the teams.
It's going to be a lot of gymnastics this weekend. I know that ESPN is covering 2 of the regional sites.
Okay.
The other 2, I know the Gymternet is kind of upset about it, but it's okay, I guess.
Not really.
I know I'm trying to put some positive spin on it, but
no, it's not good. I mean, we can't watch it.
Yeah.
Unless we subscribe.
And the Michigan regional is kind of the best regional.
Yeah. So we will do the best we can through Twitter and, online and College Gym News.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To understand what's happening.
Yes. So I'm very excited about today's interviews.
Yeah. Normally at this time of the year, we don't do interviews because we really tried to do them throughout the year to kind of build up and understand teams and seasons. But this was
necessary.
This was a necessary interview.
Yes.
We actually got to speak to folks from University of Denver. We got to speak to head coach Melissa Kutcher-Rinehart, and we got to speak to Lynnzee Brown and Maddie Karr.
Yes.
And it was a fun interview. And it was great to wait to do the interview till this time of the year because, and I think this is the first time we've ever interviewed gymnasts at this time of the year.
I think so.
Postseason when they're really focused on regionals and nationals. And so by doing that, we weren't quite sure what their answers were going to be to some of our questions, but I think it will surprise you because at the end of the day, none of the gymnasts or the coach is really focused on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is so interesting.
Yeah.
They acknowledge that, yes, they're on the rise and they're doing amazing, but they're just them.
Yeah. So we are joined with Lynnzee and Maddie of the University of Denver. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
We're doing good. What a year you guys are having, huh?
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah. So what's going right?
I would say the biggest thing is we've got a lot of team chemistry this year and we've got a lot of depth. Those 2 things combined are really what's kind of propelling us forward and the reason why we're having the success we are.
So, Maddie, you are currently ranked 4th in the all-around, which is actually tied for the highest finish in Denver history. And Lynnzee, you are also in the top 10. You're ranked number 7 in the all-around, which is pretty amazing.
And would you guys have thought that was something that you could have accomplished at the beginning of the season?
Oh, easy.
And that was Lynnzee.
Yes. It goes back to our preparation. We started so early on that we knew that by the time the season came that we'd have it down. So it's not a surprise at all. We're right where we knew we needed to be.
I mean, the past couple of years have been pretty steady for me, but I think this year I really worked over the summer just to get a couple tenths back on bars. And I think that has definitely paid off. And that's where I see the biggest differences between last year and this year and why I'm a little bit further ahead than I was at this time last year. And I would say vault is going really well for us this year. And we've been kind of excited about that, going back-to-back 1.5s in our lineup. And so those are the two things that kind of have been separating us.
Well, congratulations to both of you. It's an amazing feat, and you should both be incredibly proud. If we had to kind of start at the beginning, you guys are in the summer, you're doing some training on your own. Did you feel any differently about how you thought this year was going to be?
I think starting in the summer, so a lot of people actually stayed in Colorado and trained the whole summer. So I think that's where the biggest difference came.
Yeah. And a lot of us, I would say, we were doing bar routines all summer. We were kind of staying in routine shape, which helped a lot. So I think that was a big help. A lot of us were not as stressed trying to get into routine shape, whereas we could just focus on the little details. That summer training was really good. And it was good for the team to be out here. Everyone was kind of bonding, but in a kind of low key setting, which was a lot of fun.
That's great. And so then we're at season, that first meets in January, you guys are competing and you're seeing a different team. You're seeing these, really good scores, very competitive. How are you feeling at that point?
Everyone was ecstatic. It was just so exciting to be out there. How we said, we started in the summer and we're man, this really did pay off. We're onto something good here. So
sure. And then if we just go full circle, we're now at postseason. And you guys are 5th in the country.
Yeah.
How are we feeling now?
There's not even words we can put to it. We're just so proud of every single person, everyone that's helping us. It's just so exciting.
The biggest thing for us is that 7th and 8th position in lineup right now. We had that all preseason, all season. And I think it really, truly is a team effort when it comes down to it, especially now going into postseason where you're going to have double days and things like that. You're going to have to really rely on depth and numbers. And so those 7th and 8th spots have been pushing, I know both Lynnzee and I in the lineup and pushing everyone else.
Sure. Can we talk about conference championships? Do you mind? That was amazing to watch.
Such a good meet.
Walk us through that. How did you feel about competing? I mean, up against one of the toughest schools in the country, if not the toughest school in the country. How'd you feel about it?
I think we're so lucky to have the opportunity that they're in our conference. And every year we know it's going to be a huge challenge. And so that just makes us work harder all season to build up for this moment. We were super excited that we were challenging them year after year, challenge. So I think they're a little shaken in their boots, but we're just really excited to put ourselves in that position to challenge the top team in the country.
Yeah, you guys almost beat Oklahoma.
It was kind of a just validation for us. I know a lot of people were a little skeptical when they came here. We were pretty close to them, but being able to go into their home arena was a lot of fun. And I know something that we had kind of looked forward to all season, but we're not too concerned about it. We were are moving on, but it was a blast, I would say.
Yeah.
So at any point in time, were you guys nervous?
Not really. We're talking a lot about just doing what our team does. I don't think there was any room for nerves to creep in. And if there was, we talk about our teamwork and our chemistry so good that we're able to notice that in each other and say something and get us back on track.
Before you leave us, can we talk a little bit about regionals and nationals and how you're feeling?
Yeah, I would say we're all definitely really excited. We've been kind of preparing. We had practice yesterday and today, kind of setting us up for what's going to happen next weekend. I don't know. I think it's just more excitement than ever before. And I know this team knows what we could potentially accomplish. And I think that's something we're all kind of holding in the back of our heads. Everyone's staying healthy, which is a big thing that I think that's the most important thing moving forward is just keeping everyone on track and dialed in on those little details.
I'm just excited to travel again after this week down. We haven't had a week off since the first week of season. So it's let's get back into it. Let's travel. Let's compete.
We do a really good job of kind of team bonding on the road. We play a lot of games and we have a really competitive team. We like to play Uno the night before a meet and we kind of vamped it up a little bit. So we actually call it Spicy Uno.
Yeah, if you ever want to play, it's really fun.
There's extra rules that we added in and just it keeps it really fun and fast. And yeah, so I think we all kind of look forward to just spending time with each other on the road. We did a pretty good job this week. We went and all saw movies together on our off day and just enjoyed each other's company. And so I think that's what separates the good from the great, that team chemistry. And so we're looking forward to just spending more time together.
Sounds absolutely true. And was it spiced Uno or spicy Uno?
Yeah, spicy Uno.
It's real spicy.
Well, here's to spicy Uno. That's wonderful, guys. All the best of luck to you guys. It's been such a wonderful experience watching you all and your success this year. We look forward to continuing to see your success in the postseason and just have a great time. It sounds like you guys are doing it, and we look forward to continuing to watch.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we are joined by Coach Melissa Kutcher-Rinehart. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, we're doing great. We were just celebrating your team's success.
Yes. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on.
Sure. So we had the chance to talk to Lynnzee and Maddie, and we really kind of talked about the success. And you may or may not be surprised to know that they said it was what they did during the summer. What do you think about that?
I think it's good to hear what they think, so that's good. You know what, I would agree. I don't think it's one thing. I think it's a combination of a lot of little different things. The first is obviously the summer training they did. The commitment they showed in the summer was just fantastic. For the last 2 years, we've actually had a very strong team, but we haven't had a lot of depth. And in some cases, over the last 2 years on different events, we were putting 5 up in a lineup, and in some cases never even had a 6th. And while we were going through that, it wasn't always easy, but I think that there was a competitive edge and a mental toughness they learned. And then you add a little bit of depth to it and a little bit of that positive competition in the gym. And I think that makes also a tremendous difference. And then on my end, I've really tried to reflect on this. I feel like I didn't do as good of a job in the past staying right in the moment. And this time around, although we are very excited about the rankings and the scores and the wins or whatever it might be, and I personally have paid probably the least amount of attention to that I've ever paid in my life. And it's really more about being in the moment.
Sure. And what made you decide to coach that way?
I think for me personally, that's how I kind of like to live my life. You know, the past is the past. Can't control the future. Just really be present in the moment.
Sure.
And I think I've just tried to do a lot more of that, even with our team, to just kind of say, hey, 1 meet at a time, one event at a time, one person at a time.
I think we also have to share with you their other note about the success was spicy Uno or spiced Uno that they played.
Spicy Uno.
They attributed that as well.
Yes, you know what? That's them. And by the way, I really don't know what spicy Uno is, although I've watched them play, and I would never be able to keep up with them, even if I tried. But they have that fun about them too. They're relaxed, they're calm, but they can be confident and aggressive at the same time. I think the spicy Uno really speaks to like kind of their teamwork. And if it's okay, if I give a 2-second shout out when you say, what's the difference in the success? I just want to make sure that I'm really taking a moment. I have a phenomenal staff. You know, Associate Head Coach Lena Skaveka, Jay Hogue, Volunteer Assistant Coach Jessica Lopez, our Director of Sports Medicine, Julie Campbell. And that's just to name very few people who interact with our program and help us on a day-to-day basis. We certainly wouldn't be where we are if everyone wasn't contributing. So just want to make sure they're appreciated for that as well.
Sure. And you know, in listening to you, it sounds like you're probably the person that's least surprised at how successful your team is doing this year.
Yeah, I think I'm just more proud than surprised. And, you know, I think it's just on us now to not let ourselves get caught up in distractions.
Sure.
Just stay in the moment of kind of what we're doing. They've done all the work.
Anything you want to share about kind of your hopes, wishes, dreams for postseason?
No, I know this probably sounds like a cliche and sounds kind of somewhat silly. I don't do anything. I have been having so much fun in just some respects being a spectator, reinforcing like our philosophy of teamwork, character, and excellence. But the real key word for us all year has been that character piece. And then honestly, just stepping back and leaving them alone. So I feel really good about the trust I have in this team and how much I have been able to let go of control and let them do their thing.
Sure. And they've been doing their thing too.
Yeah. You were actually recently named Big 12 Coach of the Year. Yay! Can you talk about that award and what it means to you?
Thank you. I feel a little silly. I told the team and staff on the bus that while I appreciated it, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, that award has absolutely nothing to do with me. It's all about the team and the team's performance. If they aren't performing like this, I don't get an award like that. So it's all about them. I kind of gave that back to the team and said, this is for everyone else. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and before you leave us, can we talk about the seniors?
Yeah, thank you. I've held it together with those seniors through the senior night meet, through everything else. But when you ask about them, I could almost tend to get a little teary-eyed, which I won't do. But we have tremendous leadership. Not all the seniors are obviously designated as captains, but to have the senior class have such great, strong senior leadership that complements what our two captains are doing and have that come together, I think has also made a tremendous difference. They are amazing young women. They're all very different. Just so incredibly proud of them and proud of the growth of the program and how they've watched that and been part of that and helped drive that. And they have so much to be proud of. And obviously our goal after season is to make sure that they are productive young women who have potential internships and jobs and opportunities kind of down the road. But yeah, I have such a great group of seniors.
Sure. Well, Melissa, it's been such a good time talking to you. We're so proud of the team.
Yes.
So proud of you and your award. Very much deserved. Best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
And thank you for all the support. And thank you for promoting like collegiate women's gymnastics and giving these student athletes an opportunity. We really appreciate it.
All the best. Best success to you.
Yes.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye. So that was so much fun, right?
Yes. I feel like after those interviews, like my heart just felt good.
I know. And I want to change my bracket now.
Oh, Mom wants Denver to win.
Well, I don't say when.
Oh, yeah.
Because
LSU.
there's LSU out
exactly.
there.
Sorry.
But I want them to do really, really well.
Yeah. You can't not listen to that interview and not be a Denver fan.
I know. And the way that they're handling it, it was almost as if they didn't want us to kind of jinx their success by talking to them.
Yeah.
When Coach Rinehart said, we don't want distractions, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if we're a distraction.
We don't want to distract you.
We
Just
don't
keep
either,
doing you.
right? But it was fun.
Yeah, it was. So thank you, Brittany, for coordinating the interviews with us. And thank you for working with us throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, Brittany, you've been fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yes. And hopefully we'll see you at Nationals.
We are going to see you at Nationals.
And we will see you at Nationals.
Exclamation point.
Yes, period. So thank you all for listening. And we hope that you enjoy regionals this weekend. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to give us 5 stars on the Apple Podcast app and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you want to continue the conversation with us, be sure to tweet us. Our Twitter is @RoutinePodcast. Or you can email us at info@theroutinepodcast.com, or you can leave us a voicemail on our website, theroutinepodcast.com.
And you do that by going to the top of your navigation. It will say, be a part of the conversation. You click that, scroll to the bottom, you'll see a microphone. You click the microphone and you leave us your voicemail message. And just a quick note, that's the perfect time to talk to us about your bracket choices. And you can leave that as your voicemail message. I think that would be fun.
Yes. So thank you all for listening again. And again, like I said, for conference championships, make sure you have your snacks ready. Make sure all your devices are charged because it's going to be a long weekend of meets.
As my mom calls them, have your snackies ready.
Yeah, get your snackies.
It's been fun, Chelsea.
It's been fun. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.